This is what peak performance looks like.
This is a black belt just lulling you into a full sense of security.
Questions, a few questions, kind of in the same vein came in. It was, how do we start a roll? What are we supposed to do? Do we pull guard? How do we not just get our guard passed immediately? How do we not just get pulled into guard immediately? And we were saying, who cares? No, it was that at the start of a round, especially starting on the knees or on the ground, it's kind of artificial. It's just like, why are we here other than just immediately get into the ground fighting? So spending a ton of time, like people will get into like learning little miniaturized judo on their knees, and it's like, whatever.
So my opinion is like, it's gonna depend on your school culture. Is like, are you allowed to start on your feet? Then if you're allowed to start on your feet, it's like, do you have room to actually do stand up? Because if you're in a room packed with people, there's no room for you to be like running double legs or like actually like even doing like big throws, because you might land on top of somebody. Mm-hmm. So also, how heavy are you? Right? Like, are you 110 pounds? Are you 210 pounds? So for me, depending on what I'm doing, what I'm working on, 90% of the time in the academy, I'll just give up bottom. So if somebody wants to start rolling with me, I just start in the bottom, let them come to me, play guard, and I'll just play guard.
And they're
right?
gonna be trying to pass.
Yeah. And then let's say we shake, like I'm bottom, and then I shake hands, and then this person is like, no, I'm bottom.
Oh, they're both like, we're doing this?
Yeah, and then like I'm not a double guard pull player. Like here and there, I'll do bursts where like I need to work on this, right? Especially I have like an IBJJF tournament coming up. But if you want to play bottom, fine. I'll play top. Right now, this is when we get into the top versus top. If for whatever reason it's like I'm gonna play top, if this guy doesn't concede bottom, I'm not gonna wrestle him from the knees. I'm just gonna stand up. Now it's his choice. He can either sit down and play guard, or he's gonna come up, and I'm most likely than not, I'm gonna throw him and change his opinion about how he starts a roll. Right? So those are kind of the options. Is you want to use start the roll on the bottom. Then if the other person wants to play bottom too, most likely than not, I'm gonna come up. If you want to work on your double guard pull game, that's fine. I don't recommend that as a white belt. Right?
That's just the thing if you're getting into sport.
Then you just come up and work on your passing. Then if you want to come up and the other person doesn't want to play bottom, which happens a lot of guys. Jiu-jitsu, you have this weird jiu-jitsu thing where a lot of people they're like, no, I want to play guard, but also I want to work on takedowns.
I want to work here.
I want you to give me guard every time. Like, that's not real. So when you run into those guys, you have to take them down a few times. Be like, oh. So then they either have to work on guard or they have to work on the takedowns, because otherwise they can't just have this artificial top position every single time.
Yeah. And I'd say if you are going to pull guard, you got two options, lazy or assertive. Yeah. And I think what happens with white belts is they go, well, the black belts just go like this and then they're fine. But then I do that and then I'm like, what? And I get under side control.
Well, the reason is like I can do that is like I've been working on regarding for 15 years.
Yes.
Right? It takes like very little space for me to recover my guard. As a white belt, like your circles are not small enough to do that yet. So as a white belt, then it's more. You then have to be like more here and like getting grips and like being more aggressive to where like your feet is and make like 3 points of contact rule. Yes. We talk about it all the time. Or if you want to play here, you're here, you're here, and like we're being like more active and like trying to get into our spots. Or I'm really working to just pull you into close guard.
Yeah, and the frustration will be as a white belt, following that advice, people will still just kind of through your guard because you don't really have a guard yet. But that's how you're gonna build it.
Yeah, I mean, like there's two things I think are like completely underestimated. Is one is pinscapes, and then the other one is guard retention. It's like I don't care how many videos you watch on it, it's never gonna get better until you put a ton of reps into it.
Yes, I've been telling white belts forever that, and even blue belts, because especially if a blue belt becomes blue belt and they're still really like insecure about it, like I don't really. It's like you just. The next month, start every roll under side control, and you have to get so many like hours of practice of just starting here. And that would be the other option, is just come out and be like, hey, I want to work on side control skips. Start at side control. Yeah. And like don't get into the little.
Well, the other thing too is like when regarding like we have like a few for big guys. I was like, hey, you want to we want to work on your guard retention. One, you're not allowed to play half guard and like lock somebody down. They gotta be able to move around you. And two, if they start getting around you, you can't turtle. Have fun the next month.
Yep, they'll learn a lot.
And then they're gonna be super frustrated the first few weeks, but eventually they're gonna figure out, it's like, oh my god, I have hips. Right?
Yeah. And then another thing I'll do as an instructor is we worked on position, side control, mount, whatever, I'll say, when you go to spar, one of you just start in that position. And then if someone gets out, just keep going. But every time someone taps or you reset, just change who's on top. So someone start on top, and then it'd be side control, mount, so that way we can just make sure we do the position of the day in sparring, but then you're free to keep going if you turn it into something else. Sure. So, sorry we didn't show you tiny judo. You can find videos on that, but I think you'll learn more if you take this approach of just like getting into the thing you're actually trying to learn that has an application beyond just that first moment of a match.